In today's video, we're diving into all types of mysterious TikToks, disturbing videos, and theories that'll make you question reality. Hit that like and subscribe button, and let's dive in while we try to make sense of it all.
What? They must have saw us looking and they backed up. Yeah, they're looking. It's like awesome. What? They must have.
It almost looks like part of a rainbow, but I only see two colors, like the red and yellow. So what is it? Is it one of those sun dogs possibly? But their land is absolutely beautiful. One of the most mysterious substances on the internet that no one really talks about. Red mercury. What is it?
There's a very strange substance that is repelled by garlic, attracted to gold. And when you put this substance up to the mirror, you can't even see its reflection. This substance is called red mercury. Now, apparently you can find it like within old television sets and stuff, but according to ChatGPT and everything else on the internet, this substance is fake. But here is the thing about mercury. If you apply electricity and magnetism to mercury, it creates an electromagnetic torus field, a vortex. And if you also take mercury and then attach it to a television antenna, you can actually watch SpongeBob from anywhere in the world. That's right. So when the IRS finally comes after me, I will be watching SpongeBob in the woods in Argentina. But yeah, it can transmit and receive electromagnetic frequencies, which makes you think, maybe that's why they call Mercury the messenger of the gods. Not only that, but they used to suspend the light in a lighthouse in Mercury so that they didn't have to crank it 24/7 and it would just spin round and round and round 24 hours a day. Isn't that pretty cool? Not only that, but Mercury actually amalgamates with other metals, which means that if you put gold with it or any other metal with it, it will literally blend and create a new metal alloy. So with all of this being said, let's think about all of the crazy infrastructure that we see all over the world. The perfect, beautiful geometric patterns with all of these like spires at the top of the buildings. And the geometry of these buildings literally looks like electrical parts that we use today. So it could be a conspiracy theory that these were harvesting energy somehow, but it is also very likely. It's very possible. Just look at the geometry. And these buildings are so much more advanced than anything that we have built today in recent times. So maybe all of these gargoyles and stuff, these hybrid animals, are symbolic of amalgamations of certain metals with mercury. And that's how you could possibly make red mercury. But I made this video for entertainment purposes only. There's a very strange symbolic.
I don't know if they're symbolic. I'm more along the lines of they're like chimeras, genetic experiments. It's like, man, let's try to put wings on a jaguar or something and see if it'll fly, and bam, you got griffins. Some medieval experiments. And speaking, did you hear how he said some of them turned mercury into gold? I've heard about that. Allegedly, there's stories where medieval alchemists would trick people by using mercury and turn it into gold somehow, but after so many days or weeks go by, it fuses back into mercury, but at first it really is gold. So some crazy stuff. And then mercury disappearing when it's in front of the mirror repelling garlic. Exactly how do you get mercury anyway? Sounds like vampire blood.
During the summer of 1972, a small Missouri town would be terrorized by a massive hairy creature nicknamed Momo. This creature, standing 7 to 8 feet tall with a massive round head and covered in dark fur, would be seen all over the town of Louisiana, Missouri. Momo was first seen by a group of school children playing in a nearby forest. and they reported that this creature was carrying a dog under its arm, a dead dog. After some investigation, when the children's father came out to the same area they were playing, he would see that there was massive footprints in the dirt heading off into the forest, way too big to be a person's, with some black hairs that were also scattered about, presumably belonging to the creature. The following weeks, around the nearby woods, there would be many more reports of this creature, oftentimes discussing the horrid smell protruding from it. In fact, they would usually smell Momo before they saw it, but there was never really any aggressiveness coming from Momo. It was just like fleeting sightings out in the distance. Momo would get spotted and it would go away. Trying to take care of this potential threat, many hunting groups would be formed in this town to go and find this thing and take it down, but they wouldn't have any luck. They would find plenty of Momo hair and footprints throughout the forests, but they would never find the creature itself. And due to Momo's extreme hair situation going on, no one could ever really tell what exactly this creature was. It just looked more like a big bundle of hair.
I was gonna say Chewbacca or even Bigfoot. They out there trying to hunt Bigfoot or Chewbacca
walking around than anything. What was this creature? Was it some sort of Bigfoot type ape primate? Was it a person that was playing a joke on people? Was it a person that was just living out in the woods and happened to be real smelly and big? Who knows? It's up for you to decide. During these,
they said they could smell it before they could see it. You know what that reminds me of? The Kandahar giant story. One thing similar that they talk about these giants, that they are smelly. You can smell them. If you're enjoying these videos, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any of the action when I post, because I'm going back to posting every single day. So don't miss out. Now let's get straight back into the action. Alright, this next strange TikTok is, what if pandas aren't naturally occurring animals at all, but something much more recent? Man, what is it with all these strange genetic experiment creature theories? I love it.
What if pandas aren't a naturally occurring animal at all, but something much more recent? At first, that sounds ridiculous. After all, pandas are one of the most famous animals on Earth. But the theory starts with a strange question. If pandas have existed for thousands of years, why do some researchers claim they barely appear in Chinese art, literature, or historical records until the late 1800s? According to the theory, the first widespread descriptions of giant pandas don't appear until around 1870. And that's where things start getting weird. Pandas eat almost nothing except bamboo, a food source so low in nutrients that they spend nearly their entire lives eating. In fact, pandas can spend up to 23 hours a day either eating or sleeping. They have very few natural defenses. Female pandas are fertile for only a few days each year. And conservation programs have struggled for decades to get them to reproduce. So how did an animal with all of these disadvantages survive in the wild for thousands of years? According to one theory, they didn't. Some researchers believe pandas may never have been a truly wild animal. Instead, they speculate that pandas could have been selectively bred, much like modern dog breeds. And some even suggest they were intentionally bred to consume bamboo, one of the fastest growing plants on Earth. Then there's another strange fact. Every giant panda on the planet is ultimately controlled by China. Even pandas living in foreign zoos are usually there through Chinese loan agreements. Mainstream science rejects these ideas completely. Pandas are considered a naturally evolved species with a fossil record stretching back millions of years. But the theory continues to spread, because when you look at an animal that spends almost its entire life eating bamboo, can barely reproduce, has little ability to defend itself, and appears so late in the historical record according to the theory, it raises a strange question. Are pandas simply one of nature's most unusual creations? Or could there be more to their story than we've been told? What if pandas aren't a naturally occurring animal at all?
Wow, are you kidding me? Pandas, then how did they make them though? How did they breed them? With a polar bear and like a black bear? But how did they get the spots around the eyes? That is unusual, guys. I never thought about it like that. That is mind-blowing. I bet you'll never look at pandas the same again. As hard as China goes on pandas, you know they gotta have some type of historic evidence or something way back about pandas. And you're telling me the 1800s is the earliest it goes back? That's extremely fishy. Alright, this next mysterious TikTok caught on cam. A UFO flies by this jet. and you can instantly see the pilot look away. He's trying to get visuals of like what's behind me. Triangle shaped object. Oh, that might be a TR-3B. I'm not sure what that was at the end, but that thing flying back there, it kind of disappeared as well, almost like it hit its cloaking mechanism. Look carefully. Alright, now once it passes its helmet, you can see it disappear. I'm gonna go back real quick so y'all can see it disappear. Bam! You see it hit a portal right there? He looked back, it was gone. And there's two parts to this, man. Look at this. That definitely wasn't moving like an airplane or drone. Way too fast, way too smooth. Drop in the comments what exactly is going on here. This next strange TikTok talks about a portal inside the US.
There is a portal in the United States in a highly guarded facility that is used under the US Forest Service cover, and there are witnesses who have seen people of the US military walking into literally a wall. These witnesses are terrified. They'd been walking in what is public land, public parkland, and they'd be stopped by men with guns, men in uniform with automatic weapons, clearly highly trained elite soldiers, probably tier 1 operatives from the way they moved, and they would basically order people, go away or we will kill you. I am in no doubt that there is a deep underground military bunker that was built in the 1950s under Secret Mountain. That's what it's called. It's the hilarious thing, and it's called Secret Mountain. It's within 5-7 kilometers of Sedona. And more importantly, there's a place called Secret Canyon where there's allegedly a portal, some kind of interdimensional portal. Now, if you're protecting the security of what is supposedly an academic research institution, you have the camera pointed out so that you can see people coming from the outside.
Yeah.
But you know where the camera's pointing?
Where?
It's pointing exactly at the point where Linda Bradshaw says she saw the portal.
You know, portals popping up just isn't in America. You know, I hear about portals popping up in Australia, all over the world. Stargate territory? How crazy is this? You know, everyone's talking about stargates and portals. Are they all lying? Scientists believe that the real T-Rex was far more terrifying than movies ever showed, using deep vibrations instead of loud roars to instill fear. You know, some people theorize that T-Rexes could have been dragons with wings. But let's see what they're talking about. Like a giant bullfrog. Because, you know, we all think about dragons, you know, hitting that roar. But what if that was some type of vibration? That would be kind of scary to feel like the vibrations, you know, around you before you start seeing the trees start separating from the gust of the wings flapping. This next mysterious TikTok takes you through there. Take a good look at this Ferris wheel. This isn't your normal Ferris wheel. This Ferris wheel looks like it's about 10 stories up, and each one of those carriages is the size of a bus. Keep in mind, this was going on in the 1800s. So one question you have to ask yourself, what the heck was powering this device? And how come we don't have anything close like this today?
This was the first Ferris wheel ever built for the 1893 Chicago World's Fair, and honestly, it seems unbelievable for the time. Think about it. This thing stood over 260 feet tall, and each passenger car could hold up to 60 people at a time. There were 36 cars attached to the wheel. That's more than 2,000 passengers on a single rotation. And according to history, it took roughly 10 minutes for the wheel to complete one full revolution. Imagine the amount of weight being lifted into the air every time it turned. More than 2,000 people suspended nearly 300 feet above the ground. And that's where the questions begin. Because the World's Fair wasn't just a Ferris wheel. The entire fair was illuminated by thousands upon thousands of electric lights. Massive buildings stretched across the grounds. Machinery, inventions, and exotic artifacts from around the world were all put on display. And somehow, all of this appeared during a time when horse-drawn transportation was still common. But some researchers believe the World's Fairs were not actually showcasing new inventions. They were showcasing things that already existed. Ancient artifacts, advanced craftsmanship, technologies and materials that seemed far beyond what most people were supposedly capable of at the time. Gold, silver, rare stones, massive architectural wonders, almost like humanity was being shown pieces of a world that had already existed, a world that was disappearing. And according to the theory, the people taking credit for these marvels were not the builders. They were simply the ones who inherited them. So the question is, was the 1893 World's Fair displaying the future, or the remnants of a forgotten past? This was the first Ferris wheel ever built.
And here's another Ferris wheel, and this one wasn't even in Chicago. Old Vienna. You know, so like how we have all these little carnivals that pop up around here, that, you know, those little bang bang carnivals that you see pop up near your local mall, parking lot. They had world fairs popping off, you know? These were the real fairs, the real carnivals. I almost wish I can go back in time and see it. If you thought I wasn't going to hit you with another excellent specimen today, think again, bucko. This one, this is an excellent tourmaline. Check this out. Man, look at the size of this thing. It's like 2 feet. They're going to want tens of thousands for something like this. Man, it's in the museum, guaranteed. What a spectacle. If I had to name this, first I'm going to rate it. If I had to rate this, I'd give this a 9.7. True, look at the deep cherry red strawberry. Man, the name I'm going to give this is the giant strawberry lipstick. That's the best I got, man. The giant strawberry lipstick. Even though we don't hear about female giants, isn't that crazy? Like, we'll hear about male giants all the time, but where are the female giants? Them giant Amazonian, you know, walking around. But this is a magnificent tourmaline. One of the best I've ever seen.
So you own a piece of land, and that's great and all. That's not good enough for me. You only ever get to see what's on the surface. One of my favorite things to do is dig as deep as I possibly can and see all my land that's underneath all of my land. And look how the layers change. Like, what could possibly be under this layer that I'm digging? That's my dirt right there. I own that part of the earth. So you own a piece of land, and that's great and all.
One of the top comments says, as you get older, you realize you don't own land. You just pay a lot of money to be able to slightly control it. Damn. And what is Buddy up to here? Is he looking for specimens of the day. What is going on here? Does he have mineral rights? Is what people are saying. But this is definitely suspicious. He's digging in the dirt in the middle of the night. What is Buddy up to? That's all we got for today's video. If you made it this far, go ahead and drop the code word in the comments below. The code word for today, creatures. Go ahead and drop creatures in the comments below. When you do that, that lets me know you're a real one. You made it all the way through the video and you really rock with your boy. And I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. And we're knocking out these videos every single day. So can't wait to see you tomorrow. Stay safe.